Hello, my friends. It's Nick, the ASMR nerd, and today we are going to be building a mechanical keyboard. Yes, it's going to be a super satisfying, ultra relaxing DIY mechanical keyboard build video. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, so I'm really looking forward to it. For our parts in today's video, Banggood.com has supplied some really interesting components. The core of our build is going to be this item right here. This is the GamaKay LK67 65% hot swappable wireless keyboard kit. Comes with everything you need to get started aside from the switches and the keycaps. So this board is hot swap. It's got RGB backlighting, underlighting. It's wireless, and it's going to be, I think, a great foundation for us to build on here today. It also looks really cool. For switches today, we've got these ones from Feker. Feker, love that name. These are the Feker Pink Jade, also known as Feker Panda switches. They are effectively Holy Panda clones, and I'm very keen to try them out to see how they feel. It's a medium tactile switch with evidently a nice snappy tactile feel. So very keen to see and hear and feel those in action. And finally, we have in this nondescript cardboard box here, we have a keycap set, an interesting looking keycap set. It is black on white dye sub PBT XDA profile, so that's a uniform profile and not a super common one at that. And it's got some fun little flourishes with some like Japanese characters for the sub legends. So we're gonna put this all together. I think it's gonna look and sound really sharp. I'm really looking forward to it. Once again, if you're interested in picking these up, now's a great time to do it. If you want to build the exact keyboard that I'm going to put together here today, all of these components are on sale on Banggood right now because, hey, it's that Black Friday season, right? At the time of recording, at least. So I'll put those links down in the video description. You can click on through, check them out, save some dollars if you pick them up during the Black Friday sale, and support the channel by using those affiliate links as well, which of course I appreciate a whole lot. Altogether, these parts today tally up to about $135 US on the current sale. So this is a really solid mid-range looking build, and I'm really keen to see how it looks and sounds. I honestly think it's going to look super clean and super sharp. But hey, you know what else looks super clean and super sharp? Yeah, I bet you do. It's these tees from our sponsor, Into the AM. Into the AM are purveyors of elevated everyday apparel, and just like with the keyboard components, now is an awesome time to pick up some of these t-shirts. They have some massive sales going on Into the AM right now. For Black Friday, up to 80% off. For the following Cyber Monday sale, up to 90% off. So if you've been eyeing up these tees that I wear in a lot of my videos, a lot of my streams, but you've been holding off, you've been waiting for the right moment, now is that time. They got tees on for as little as like $5, and they have all kinds of awesome, exclusively licensed designs that you aren't going to find anywhere else. Designs like this one right here. It's got a whole freaking spooky enchanted castle on it. Or this awesome crystalline looking wolf design on this nice kind of green color. Or what might be one of my favorite new designs from them, this one right here with this really cool lighthouse, the big moon in the background, the planets. I love it. Or maybe you're thinking, hey, it's getting a bit colder here these days. We're coming on into the winter time. No problem. Into the AM has you covered as well with stylish hoodies like this one. Check it out. Look at this gorgeous pattern. Awesome. Also, incredibly comfortable, really high quality feeling. As a matter of fact, that applies to all of their products. I love the fit, I love the feel. They're easy to care for, they wear really, really well. And right now it's all on sale over at Into the AM. And maybe you've been there before, taking a look at some of their designs. Maybe you're looking for something new. Head on back, click through on that link, because they're getting in new designs all the time. And so many awesome designs are on deep discounts right now, up to 90% off from now, time of publication of this video, right through to December 3rd. So make sure you take advantage of this sale. Maybe get something nice for yourself. Treat yourself. Get something for a family member or a friend for Christmas. Some great deals to be had there. And if you use the affiliate link down in the video description or pinned in the top comment, you save an additional 10% off of your entire purchase. And a portion of your purchase, once again, comes back to support me and the channel, which means an awful lot to me. So thank you if you support the channel that way. I really, really appreciate it. So once again, big shout out to our sponsor, Into the AM. Thank you for sponsoring this video, and make sure that you guys go and check out that sale for some massive savings right now. Links down below. All right, with all that preamble out of the way, let's get building this keyboard. All right, so here we've got the GamaKay LK67 in box, and it's a pretty long kind of box. That's because of its sort of 65 or 68% layout, I guess. On the front, we've got the image of the board here. This is the white case variant. It's available in black or white, or a translucent case as well. We can see all those hot swap sockets, all that stuff, and of course the rotary encoder. LK67 is featured prominently here. It also has this graphic in the background, which is like Poseidon, I guess, Neptune on some crashing waves with his trident. Why not, I guess. Then we have some features listed here as well. What have we got? Knob layout, full bike, full bike. I'm trying to figure out what the heck that could mean. I'm blanking. I don't know if you can think of what full bike is supposed to mean. Let me know down in the comments. It's probably a mistranslation of some kind. Hot swap, indeed. Full color RGB, yes. Full key driver definition, so fully remappable keys in software. Built-in silence. Built-in silence. I believe that means there's a foam dampening layer in here, which hopefully we will see if we can pull this apart. And special satellite axis. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Maybe it's referring to the stabilizers. I'm not quite sure though. GamaKay here. I'd like to point out that this has come a long way from the first ever GamaKay product I've reviewed. I've reviewed a few GamaKay keyboards now, and Wamier before that. And they've definitely improved their packaging over the last couple of years. GamaKay LK67. Got some certifications and stuff over here. Just layout of the schematic over here. Product features. Separate keypad. Separate keypad. Carefully designed separate layout keypad for easier use. So that makes me think, that there's a whole separate numpad, but that's not the case. What they mean is that the 3 nav cluster keys here and the arrow keys are slightly separated away from the main body of the alphanumerics and the mods. It's an exploded layout. Exploded 65%, I guess. Or exploded 68%. But that's what they're getting at there, I think. Independent volume knob, indeed. Play, pause, control, and volume. Hot swappable keyboard, yes. Easy shaft change in 10 seconds. Okay. Cool bottom RGB lighting system. So it has sort of edge bottom lighting. You'll see what I mean when we get in there. And multifunction driver software, which probably janky as heck, but at least it does exist, apparently. I will have to find out if I can actually, find it. Sometimes it's kind of hard to actually find. Okay, well, that's pretty straightforward. Let's pull off this slip cover here. Let's see what we've got inside. Plain black box. I noticed nowhere on the slipcover did it specify. Well, I mean, I guess it shows the color on the front. I'm just not sure if it says it's white anywhere. But maybe each slipcover has its own color case pictured on the front. Hard to know. Nothing here. Completely nondescript black box. Okay, so yeah, GamaKay have definitely upped their game, in the last year or two. And we've got some nice foam padding in here to keep our keyboard in place. We've got some kind of manual here, so this does support 2.4 gigahertz and Bluetooth wireless modes, as well as wired. That's a little booklet, okay, I think. Oh no, not quite. Okay, so just talks about configuring the backlight in hardware. List of special key functions, a secondary function layer, mode switching, the rotary encoder, these sorts of things. Looks reasonably detailed. Over on the right-hand side here, we have some accessories, no doubt. Oh, we have a very nice color-matched braided USB Type-C cable. Oh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? It's nice and thick braiding. Again, matching the board. We've got nice metal housing on either end. Each is reinforced as well. It's actually a pretty high quality looking cable. And for a board at this price, that ain't bad. And a Velcro cable wrap to boot. Not bad at all. Nothing else. Oh, I lied. What's this? Ah, the USB receiver. Of course. And a little sealed envelope, so it can't be lost. And keycap and switch puller. Keycaps on this end, switches on this end, and it's of the nice wire variety, so that's actually great. Strong showing there. I mean, again, for the price, for $60, like, what do you want, right? Okay, and the board. Let's see. And it's got a metal top plate of some kind. I don't know, probably just steel, I guess. Or back plate, I should say. The stabilizers are definitely not factory lubed. You can probably see. Interesting, we have some kind of dampening material or something here. This is kind of a rubber material. I'm actually not sure what's going on here. The PCB is like a matte black under there. It supports both 3-pin and 5-pin switches for its hot swap. We've got our dial, which has little indentations in it. Maybe you can hear. It spins pretty freely, but those little indents are nice. It's got this ring around it to diffuse the RGB, I believe. And on the back, USB Type-C connector, as well as a mode switcher for, oh, we got some lights. This is 2.4 gigahertz mode, wired, or Bluetooth mode. You can see those LEDs under there, looking very flickery right now, but that's just on the camera. In person, they do not look so. So we've got this kind of grill feature around this side, GamaKay branding around the front. And we've got the edge / underlighting. I guess it's almost more of an underlight. This will illuminate, as will this. And I think on the back, this will too. Non-skid feet, rubberized here. Label with serial, barcode, some other info, and it's got a bit of an angle to it. You can maybe see. It sits up at a few degrees. Not quite sure exactly how many, but a few. And that's kind of it. It's pretty straightforward. The case is, of course, ABS plastic. Inside there somewhere, there's a battery, which gives it a decent feeling of weight. 2400 milliamp hour battery, which is reasonable size. It feels pretty solid. Like, you can tell that it's plastic, of course, but it doesn't feel super hollow or cheap. So that's what we've got. Now I'm just examining this to try and figure out how the heck we're going to get in here, or even if we're going to get in here. Maybe we won't. Oops. We've got some screws on the front, but those are just for the top plate. I don't see any easy way to get into the case. Now I wonder if, let's just take a peek here. I'll just pull off this corner here to see if there's a screw under there that we might be able to access. No, eh? Well, maybe my original plan, which was to lube and band-aid mod the stabilizers, is not going to be viable here, because there's a little indent there, but there's no visible screws here. The only other thing I can think of is that maybe somehow, if we can undo these ones on the front, maybe this plate lifts out or slides out or something. Well, I'm going to give it a shot, and I guess I'll let you guys know if it's doable. Oh, also, this knob is pressable. It's not the best feeling press ever, but it gets the job done. Okay, well, yeah, I gotta take a crack at getting this thing open, see if I can do it without breaking it. We shall see. So after some further inspection, it's pretty clear that this case is not meant to be disassembled. I did a little bit of reading as well, and it sounds like it's very hard to get it apart without breaking stuff. So that's a little bit disappointing because I was hoping to see what they've got in terms of dampening on the inside. But you know what? We might actually just be able to see a little bit of it here. If we, yeah, here, let's try this. If I just kind of poke this under here, you can see maybe it's black on black, so it's hard to see, but there is a little bit of dampening foam. You see that there? Dampening foam. So there's a layer of dampening foam between the plate here and the PCB, which will hopefully contribute to a deeper, dampened, thockier typing experience. This is not gasket mounted, I don't believe. That's a lot to ask for $60. But hopefully, however it's put together, that dampening foam does help with things. Let's just put this guy back in here. But the good news is, we can get at these stabilizers without the need for any disassembly, because they're just a simple clip-in plate-mounted stabilizers. So we should just be able to push in these little clips on each one, right there, and then lift them up and pull them out. So let's do that. If we can. I'm pretty darn sure we can. There we go. One side. Two side. So the stabilizer comes out. And would you look at that? Actually, there is a tiny bit of lube in there. Just a little bit. Gosh, that is a paltry amount of lube, but it's in there. You can see it. We're going to do a better job. That's not really going to prevent any rattle, I don't think. The plastic on these stabilizers feels pretty soft. Almost like a POM or something, which is probably a good thing. And then the space bar here, we ought to be able to still get out. It might just be a little trickier, but I think because we can lift out these are just rubber. I guess they're dampening material, which is interesting. I've never seen that before, but we can just pull them out like so, and we ought to be able to lift this guy out as well. Maybe. It's just gonna be a little trickier. It's hard to get under here. Let's try different head on the screwdriver that might be a little better at getting underneath these things. Let's do that. Of course, you don't have to do this, if you don't want to. This is all entirely optional. I firmly believe that stabilizers are, almost stabbed myself there, are a very important part of the typing experience. Often the stabilizers are what let a board down. Okay, well that one comes out very easily. There we go. And good stabilizers make all the difference between a very budget-feeling board and something that feels a bit more premium. I mean, they're not the only important part, but they certainly can go a long way. For sure. There we go. And it's just the space bar. There we go. Got that side. Got it. And out she comes. Great. Okay. So, I'm gonna take a few minutes and I'm going to, well, let's see. Do I even need to clip these stabs? Okay, so if you don't know what all this is about, clipping and lubing and band-aid modding stabilizers, I'm going to link you to another one of my videos because I have several videos where I do this. And you'll be able to see that in action there where I describe it in detail as opposed to going through the whole process here with you. But basically, it's just attempting to reduce the rattle and the clacking sounds made by these stabilizers. And so on some stabilizers, the little feet here, they need a little piece of plastic clipped off, or two little pieces of plastic. These ones do not seem to be designed that way. So that's one less piece of work. That's great. They're very loose, these little stabilizer stems in their housings. And I guess that's intentional, but I'm definitely going to put some lube in there. And then these wires definitely need some more lube. So anyway, I'm going to do that. And then I'll show you the finished product. Oh, and also the Band-Aid mod, which again, you can see in the video that I linked there. But that's literally just putting pieces of adhesive bandages underneath where each stabilizer impacts the PCB so as to dampen the bottom out of the stabilizers. Helps create a thockier sound rather than a clacky sound. Okay, for real, I'm gonna go do that now. So just as a little demonstration here, I've got one of the stabilizers lubed over here, one of them unlubed, and I was just going to give you a little sound test so you can hear the difference that properly lubing and Band-Aid modding the stabilizers can make. So I just pulled out a couple of Boba U4T switches. These are not the switches I'll be using in this board ultimately, but just for testing. And a couple of caps here just to test with. So here is the unlubed, or the factory lubed stabilizers, but the untuned stabilizers. Not too bad, but it's actually, believe it or not, binding a little bit. And also definitely got some rattle to it. So now let's listen to the tuned, lubed and Band-Aid modded stabs. I mean, you can hear the difference, right? Listen to the rattle. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little demo there of the difference that tuning can make. And I'm not even like really tuning these very well. I'm doing this pretty quick and dirty, but I think it sounds dramatically better already. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up and then we'll get on with the actual switches that we're going to put in this board. And here's the board with tuned stabilizers. It doesn't look any different to you, so you can't really tell, but I did give them all a quick test, and it does feel and sound an awful lot better. So that's great. And of course, once again, tuning the stabilizers, lubing and clipping or Band-Aid modding as well if you want, or balancing the stabs, all that stuff. It's totally optional. You know, you don't have to do it. It does take a bit of work. Sometimes some trial and error. You can definitely overlube or underlube these kinds of things. But I think it makes a big difference, and it doesn't really cost much of anything extra, and can really elevate an otherwise fairly average typing experience to something really special. So it's a great way of getting a bit more of a premium feel out of these more budget-oriented ports. Okay, so next up are switches from a company called Feker. Feker. Says it right there. It's one of my favorite names for a random Chinese keyboard company. I've reviewed some stuff from Feker before. And today we're going to be putting these little Fekers in this keyboard. These switches are going to be interesting. I'm really curious, actually, to see what they're about. They are effectively Holy Panda clones. Holy Pandas are considered they're a very famous tactile switch, sort of a medium tactile switch. And for a while there, they were a very hot item. Everybody wanted Holy Pandas. Switches have diversified a lot since then, and there are a lot of other arguably better options even, like the Boba U4Ts I just was testing with a moment ago. But that name still has some cachet, and for example, Glorious put out their own Glorious Panda switches, which are emulating the Holy Panda switches. So that's what these are. These are inexpensive Chinese clones of Holy Panda switches, and we're gonna find out if they're any good. I really have no clue. I've never used a Feker branded switch before, despite using a Feker keyboard. I'm pretty sure those switches that came with that Feker board were, I don't know, Gatorons or something. I could be mistaken, actually. I have to go back and rewatch that review, but they come in this black textured box. Actually sounds and looks pretty premium. Pretty nice. Not bad at all. Although, you notice pretty much no indication as to what's actually inside. And honestly, it sounds like they're just loose in there. Let's find out. Okay, so they're in a bag, in a box. Not sure if that's necessary, but there they are. Look at all those little Fekers. So let's pull one out. So they come with these kind of flesh-colored stems. Salmon, maybe you call that color. You know, it's not bad. Definitely some stem wobble, you can see there. But not too much more than you see elsewhere. They have no pre-travel. They have a medium tactile bump right near the top there. I honestly don't know what the bottom weight of these switches is. I don't even know if it's advertised on Banggood, but probably around 60 grams. The bottom housing is evidently made of nylon. They have a nice snappy rebound and a nice little bump on the way up, right? And the bottom out is not, you can hear it there. I wouldn't say it's super thocky, but it's fairly pleasant. These are not factory lubed, but they are quite smooth, actually. Fascinating. Opaque housings, of course, so the RGB is not going to come through as quite as nice as it might on a transparent housing, but that's okay. It's really not bad. These are about 50 cents a switch, so they're not actually that cheap, really, but they are cheaper than, say, the glorious Pandas, which are around 75 cents a switch, I believe. And I think they're a little cheaper than the Boba U4Ts. I can't remember what I paid for my U4Ts, honestly. Anyway, let's stick them into this board, and we'll just have to see how they sound when we type on them. My biggest concern, I think, is probably that that stem wobble. It's fairly pronounced, but hopefully it's not too noticeable in practice. In actual usage. This is a 70 pack that I have here. We have 67 sockets on this board, so we'll be using almost all of them. Because I'm using almost all of them, I don't want to accidentally destroy any of them. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. You can certainly get cheaper switches. But I guess these are a slightly more premium type of knockoff switch. The sockets on here are a little stiff. A little stiff. Some of them, anyway. Proving especially difficult. Let's try a different switch in it. There we go. Not sure what I got on the board there. Slight blemishes. It's weird. Maybe it's just dirt. Maybe it'll come off. I don't think that was there to start with, though. This particular switch is being problematic. Why? Sometimes you just gotta bend the pins ever so slightly just to get them to properly seat. Okay, you know what? That's a problem switch. We'll just put that one aside. Maybe we won't have to use it. You might be able to see they do say Feker on them. right there. Maybe you can see. The nice thing about a smaller board like this is you don't have that many switches to put in. Comparatively speaking. A lot less than a full size anyway. You know, the sockets in that top row were a little stiff, but they seem to be less so this next row down. I'm not the biggest fan of the color scheme. This kind of salmon color on white, but once we get the keycaps on, of course, they're hidden underneath anyway. Some people are pickier about matching their switch stem colors or housing colors with their board, but you know, I guess if you're taking a lot of pictures or video of your board with the caps off, then sure, but I understand the appeal. You just knowing the color underneath the caps. There's something appealing about knowing it's matching. But I was you know, browsing through all the switches on Banggood, because there's a lot of switches on Banggood these days. Some really interesting looking, sort of exotic types that aren't really clones of any particular switch. Sort of these companies' own riffs on what they think, you know, would make for interesting switches, I guess. But I settled on these guys because I really did want to compare them to my glorious Pandas and to my U4Ts, because I'm a big fan of tactile switches. And I was just curious, you know, what these are going to be like if the quality compares. Oh, you know what this is probably? Just thinking about it. Yeah, you know what that is? Those little blemish marks there. It's because when I was doing the Band-Aid mod, I stuck the unused part of the Band-Aid on there at one point. So that's some of the adhesive. That's all that is. Should come off, no problem. We're getting there. I was noticing no spring ping. A very pleasant sounding switch, actually. Not quite as deep or as thocky a bottom out as those U4Ts, but actually have a nicer bottom out sound. Well, nicer by my preferences. A deeper bottom out sound than the Glorious Pandas. But you know, in a second here, we'll actually do a comparison between those three switches, just so that we can hear. I'll go grab a couple of each. One of each. There we have it. Very good. And our three leftovers. Let me just go grab a couple of those other switches real quick, and I'll do a little compare and contrast. So here we have a trio of tactile switches. This one right here, this sort of pinky stem, is the Feker. And it sounds a bit like this. Compared to the U4T, which is this one right here, it definitely does not have quite so thocky a bottom out. So let's go, your left ear is the U4T, your right ear is the Feker. U4T, Feker, U4T, Feker. You know, actually now that I'm comparing them to one another, it's actually not far off the sound signature in terms of thockiness. Specifically that bottom out. Listen, here's the bottom out sound on the U4T. That's the pure bottom out sound. And now on the Feker. Yeah, that's not bad. This is the Glorious Panda, and it's kind of the odd one out because I believe it has a polycarbonate bottom housing. You can hear it's definitely got a higher pitch to it compared to, okay, let's do this again. I'm gonna put Glorious Panda in your left ear, and that's the U4T in your right ear. So let's go just try and get some just pure bottom out sounds here. You can hear some pinging in there too, but definitely a difference there. Now once again, the Glorious Panda in your left ear. It's got that high-pitched bottom out sound. And then in your right ear, that's the Feker. Interesting. Well, anyway, I just wanted to do that little comparison. Three different switches, similar in some ways. You know, stem wobble is well, actually, fairly comparable. I'd say maybe a little more on the Feker. But it's not bad. Yeah, these Fekers put on a good showing. I'd say the tactility is actually a little stronger than the Glorious Panda. A little snappier. God, those Fekers sound good. All right. Okay, enough time mucking around with switches. It's time to put on the keycap. So let's take a look at the interesting keycap set I've got for this board. Okay, so for the keycaps, remember this is a budget build, so I tried to keep them pretty modest. But I wanted something that was a little more interesting than just your basic black on white or whatever. I was looking for something really clean, but still a bit interesting. And something that would have coverage for this somewhat non-standard layout. So, what I ended up going with is these right here. And I'm not really showing you the box because there's really nothing to see. There's no labeling except for just a sticker over here. And even that doesn't say what's inside. It's just a skew. So, that's interesting. These are clearly not made for, you know, any sale except online sale. There we go. So what we have here is a full set of white caps made of PBT plastic, so nice high quality plastic, with black dye sublimated legends, with secondary legends that are, I think, Japanese characters, but I do not read Japanese at all. I do not know what set of Japanese characters these are. And then I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and this might be very ignorant of me, I don't know, but that looks kind of Chinese to me. I could be totally wrong. I might be totally off the mark, but same with over here, like the caps lock. So, maybe let me know down in the comments, like, what the heck is going on with these other characters here on these modifiers. But, you know, it doesn't matter too much because I don't know what any of them say anyway. It's really just for the aesthetic and to give a little bit more visual interest to the proceedings than it would have with just the plain black on white alone. It does come with a keycap puller, which feels very inexpensive. It's got sparkly red handle, but you know, would get the job done. But what makes these even a little more interesting than their layout or than their visual design is their profile. Look at, we got all these little novelty keys here. These are XDA profile. XDA profile caps are kind of a medium height profile. It's a uniform profile, so all of the rows are the same height, same profile. There's a spherical profile, so you can see it's got these curved edges and these slightly curved tops. And the other benefit of having a uniform profile like this is that it's much easier to find caps that are going to work over here and not be out of whack with the profile of everything else, because it's all the same height. So I don't have to worry about what row the caps belong in, right? So that's nice. So with that in mind, let's start putting these on. I guess we'll take a quick look actually before we really dive in. Let's just take a look at the quality of these caps. So the legends are dye sublimated, which means they are dyed into the plastic. They will never wear off. They're not just printed on the surface. They are reasonably thick. There is no flex on those caps. And because they are kind of a slightly shorter profile than you might be used to with OEM, for example, which is sort of the typical profile on most consumer keyboards. Because of that, there was even less flex because they're not as tall. So they look pretty good. Like really, they look pretty good. The quality of the dye sub printing is nice and high. All the legends look sharp. So I guess the one other thing I gotta do here is, we'll just take this out of here. Put that over there, move this over here. The one other thing I gotta do is actually check what the default layout is, because I'm not quite sure. Alright. Okay, that'll do. Just need that visual guide so that we can see what we're doing as we go. What needs to go where? I mean, all the basic alphanumerics are going to be what they always are, but specifically over here, I wasn't quite sure. So let's bring this over here. This particular set has about 120 keys in it, and it goes for around $35 on sale. So it's, you know, it's quite reasonable, and just right off the bat, like, the quality honestly feels really good for the price. Lightly textured, just a little bit. All right, let's start putting them on. Yeah, it's definitely a bit of wobble, but not too bad. Not too bad. Being a 65% board, we don't have any function row keys, so we're just gonna put our numbers on up here. The F row, function row functions sit underneath the secondary function layer, right? Or sit on the secondary function layer, I should say. To just get rid of that little bit of adhesive there. Marring an otherwise very clean aesthetic. I'm happy to see that the white of the caps matches the white of the board quite nicely. It's not like one's a little warmer than the other. They actually go together just great. Not too bad. If I do say so myself. Quite a bit of wobble there. tab is a pretty long, unstabilized key, right? So now the caps lock's gonna be a wobble fest here. Definitely. So there's one slight shortcoming of these Feker switches, is they do have a bit of wobble, a bit of wiggle. Many switches do, though. It is not uncommon. And in basic everyday use, you're not even going to notice it. You're generally not pressing the switches down hard enough at an off angle, you know, near the edge to even notice. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really liking this aesthetic. I mean, it's, you know, fairly basic, but it's clean. Clean, clean, clean. If you really wanted to make it, you know, stand out, you could always replace a few keys, some interesting colors, like a red. I think a few red accent keys on here would look fantastic. Listen to this enter. Listen. Pretty happy with how those came out. Yes, indeed. Now, of course, we're gonna hopefully be able to find a shortened right shift somewhere in this kit, because that's what we need. So let's see. Oh, we absolutely do have coverage right there. Check it out. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Down here, we're going to have our 1.25U. Here, I can move this out of here. 1.25U. Bottom row on the left. But then on the right, of course, we've got a series of 1U keys, which also are covered by this kit. A little bit of ticking on the spacebar. It's not awful, but it's definitely audible. I think I might, once we're done here, just revisit those stabilizers, see if I can balance them a little bit better, get rid of that tick. But for now, it's not too bad. Okay, so here are our 1U modifiers for the bottom right here. Yeah, truth be told, I didn't look super closely to figure out if this kit would have coverage, but I kind of had a feeling it would, just based off what I saw in the pictures, and turns out, yeah, we totally do. Arrow keys. Right down here. And we do have all those little novelties as well, which we could totally... that was my stomach. Hear that? Which we could totally throw on here. Any of the 1U spots can take them. I kind of like this one. It's nice. Or the little lucky cat. That one's pretty cute too. But for now, let's keep them basic. And then the 3 nav cluster keys are, by default, delete, page up, and page down. Delete, delete, page up, and page down. And once again, because XDA is a uniform profile, we don't have to worry about, matching up the rows or anything like that, the heights. It all just works, which is really nice. So, here we have our completed board, and I love how clean this looks. Doesn't that look sharp? It just looks classy, but it's also got a little bit edge to it. I like these little details here. The knob, something about it feels like slightly retro in a way that I really dig. And I think once we get the backlighting on, it's going to feel potentially even a little bit more so. With all the switches in here and all the caps on, it has a nice weight to it. It has a really nice weight to it. And I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. So let's do a typing test. Banggood, my friends, the GamaKay LK67 build from start to finish, and you had a chance to hear it and see it in action there as well. I am really pleased with how this little board turned out. I really think it looks so sharp. But of course, if you wanted something a little more out there, a little more colorful, Banggood has all that stuff for you as well. Tons and tons of stuff is on sale right now as part of their Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. So make sure you click on through, you check out the links for the products that we've used here today if you're keen on them. And I would recommend checking them out. Like, this is not a formal review. And obviously they did send in this stuff for us to use here. But so, you know, take this with a grain of salt, I guess. But I'm actually quite impressed with the LK67 for its price. I think it's got a ton of great features. Those Feker Panda switches or pink Jade switches really surprised me. They are really pleasant to type on, and as you heard, I think they sound pretty great as well. And these keycaps are pretty darn good too for the 35 bucks, 36 bucks they're on sale for right now. They feel really high quality, and I think they look super sharp. So do go check that out, but also check out some of their other stuff, because they got tons and tons of mechanical keyboards, mechanical keyboard supplies, switches, keycaps, kits, DIY stuff, the whole shebang. So the sky's the limit, really. You can look at this stuff, but there's lots of other stuff there too. So big shout out to Banggood again for sending over the components for our super satisfying, super tingly mechanical keyboard build here today, and for helping us build this super sharp looking board. And big shout out to this video's sponsor, Into the AM, for the sharp looking tee that I'm wearing in this this video right now, and for all their support for sponsoring this video and many others. They too have a massive Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale going on right now through December 3rd. You can save up to 90% on their stuff and an additional 10% off using my affiliate link down there. That's some insane savings. So if you've been eyeing up this shirt or a lot of the other shirts that you see me wearing in my videos or on my Twitch live streams, and you've been just holding off, just waiting for the right time, now is that time. They have some massive deals. Head on over, click through that link, browse their huge collection of awesome exclusively licensed designs, from, you know, spooky castles to crazy spacey stuff to super psychedelic stuff to sort of geometric stuff and more natural stuff and vapor wavy kind of stuff, like all kinds of really rad aesthetics, and save some huge money on that stuff. So links, one more time, link is down below. You save 10% using my affiliate link off of their already insane sale prices, and a portion of your purchase comes back to support me, which means a lot. And the same goes for the Banggood links as well. A portion of those purchases also support the channel. So, okay. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this relaxing, satisfying, enjoyable, and I look very forward to having you back here next time. Bye for now, my friends.